So I'm Michael Powers. I'm the founder and CEO of MPlayIt. The title of this talk is Social Networks, the New Marketplace for Mobile Games, ? About us, just so you know where I'm coming from. Now we're cooking. Is this on now? Great. Just so you know where I'm coming from, our company is one of these online discovery sites for mobile apps. We are the one that's actually on the Facebook platform, so our customers think that we are the App Store of Facebook, which works for us. That's fine. We provide marketing, merchandising, promotion services for mobile application developers. So if there are parts of this talk that sound a little bit like a pitch, that's why. But hopefully we can keep those to a minimum and get to the content. What we're going to talk about is, basically my take on the space. Given my history, I was an independent application developer before this company, a one-man shop. In the Java days, getting applications to market. My applications were on T-Mobile, Sprint, Nextel, and I felt the pain of application discovery when it was really bad, when it was, when the carriers ran it. It's a different world now, but application discovery is still a problem. Mainly because the gold rush is over. Now, bonus points if you recognize this picture, but back in the day there was a website called wirelessdeveloper.com, and that was the homepage picture. A developer kicking back with money raining down on him. That pretty much, I love this years later because it pretty much, encapsulates the promise of mobile applications, that you'll write your application, stick it out there, and the money will just roll in. And that did happen for a precious few people, but those days are over. Just getting your application, getting it up on the App Store is not a marketing strategy. And I'm talking to, mainly this talks about independent developers, but, as an independent developer, you are going to have to take marketing into your own hands and get serious about it to make a successful business in mobile games. So the problem, as we all know, is that the long tail is not long enough. This is the famous graphic from AdMob a few quarters ago. This information is very difficult to get out, especially on the App Store, where Apple is famously jealously guarding all these metrics. But what we do know is that most of everything is happening to the top 100, 200 applications. And everyone else, out of 150,000 plus applications, is going unused, unbought, unsold. And likely that's most of us in this room. The problem is, and there always will be this problem, there are physical limitations to discovery, especially discovery on device. Screen size, bandwidth, latency, user patience, that's going to limit how deep people dive into a catalog. Feature phones, it was really bad. Tiny screens, WAP decks for browsing. 95 plus games went to the top 20. Things are a little bit better now. Now it's the top 200, but that's still not enough for everyone that wants to get into this market. But here, on the other hand, is the opportunity. Now, pardon me, I love this graph, but no one else does, so I have to explain it. So the top bar is penetration of mobile devices. We're talking billions of devices, and then it's segmented roughly by device OEM, right? So there's Apple at the end with a sliver of the market. That's the app economy. The app economy is largely about the iPhone, but yet as far as device penetration goes, we have just scratched the surface. Now, the bottom chart is a chart of penetration of applications bought and sold, basically into the consumer audience. 90% plus, most of the market has never bought a mobile application. This is untapped territory for all of us. Apple, if you look at the red marks, they're about equal. That means that Apple has mainly done a good job of selling to its customers. When the other guys turn it on, it's going to grow the market for everybody. And this is why we're in the business. Probably stuff that you already know. But what is in that white box, that undiscovered territory, right? It's cross-platform. It's moving from iPhone to other devices like Android, BlackBerry, and other devices. It's also a different demographic. The people that are buying applications today are not the same kind of people that will be buying them a year from now, okay? The early adopters are the ones that have made this industry, but the market will grow. And how do you take advantage of it? So the two ways it can grow, cross-platform, and we see this on our platform. Our InPlay catalogs has the entire catalogs for iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry. And as such, we collect a lot of information about what those different audiences, what they like and what they gravitate towards, and how they're different from each other. So stuff like this, we live and breathe on. Here you can see that iPhone has a very heavy game interest. Users are roughly 3 times as interested in games on the iPhone platform than the other platforms today. Our audience there is obviously much larger right now. And they tend to be a lot more social. But the Android users tend to really get into their applications, and they tend to download a bunch. And the BlackBerry guys as well. So clearly there's pent-up demand on these other 2 platforms that's just waiting to be taken advantage of. That's the cross-platform angle. And then there's the other angle, which is the demographics. So of that big undiscovered territory, it's made largely of normal people, which is not people like us, not people that already have smartphones, people that don't yet have smartphones, but will. As we all know, mobile games is casual games. Okay, the usage patterns are very casual, and they appeal to a different demographic than your hardcore gamer. Casual demographics are skewed more female than male, ages 20s, 30s, 40s. The plurality of them are married women. So this is who you're going after. And if you've always wanted the chance to go after married women, here is your chance. So the key defining characteristic of casual gamers is casual. They are hassle averse. They will not take the time to find your application. They will not go through the trouble to download your application. It has to be easy for them. You need to get in front of them. That's the target. And the good news is that they've already seen. They know what they want, right? So Apple runs these primetime ads on CSI and Dancing with the Stars, and everyone in America knows that they want apps on their phone. 98% of them don't have iPhones. 90% will never have iPhones. This is the target audience, and this is where you need to get there. So this is the scene, right? So the long tail's not long enough. You need to get in front of casual gamers that are on non-iPhone devices. How do you get there? My thesis is that you use the web and social as a discovery mechanism to make sure that your application has as much reach and as much draw as possible to get in front of your audience. How to do that? Today, there are 3 ways to launch your application. One is just snooze. You go to Apple, take them out to dinner. My understanding is it's about 6 to 8 dinners with Apple to get featured on the App Store. Not everyone can do that. Not everyone lives in the Valley. Secondly, you can spend a lot of money. We've heard stories that you really need to do a serious app launch, $50,000 on AdMob to get enough distribution to get your application catapulted into the top 100, 200 top 100 lists so that you get sufficient traction to make a lot of money on your application. These 2 options are probably not in the cards for most of us in this room. So what do? You're left with option 3, sweat, blood, and tears. You need to go guerrilla and use social techniques to maximize your exposure, and we're going to talk about that here. So I'm going to talk about what that means, and then after that I'm going to give you 5 recommendations that you should already know, but you probably could use somebody telling you them anyway so that you get serious about it. We break the solution out into 2 parts. There's web discovery and social discovery, and there are 2 different pieces of the same puzzle. Web discovery is important because it's where these casual users are. 7 out of 10 of them go online every day. So they're out there. And when they go online, they're checking Facebook, they're checking up their Twitter feeds. They're not on there necessarily to get work done. They're out there wasting time already. So they're a prime market for you to take advantage of. But how are you going to do that? The nice thing about the web is that it's frictionless discovery. If you contrast it to your discovery experience on the best of all app stores, the iTunes client on the iPhone, it's still slow. It's like molasses. You're browsing, you might get through maybe 5, 6, 7 applications, and your average user is going to lose interest. If you're on the web, where they are anyway, right? They're checking up on Facebook or whatnot. Click, click, click. It's easy, fast, high bandwidth, low latency. It's a better, easier, less hassle discovery experience. And we see this in our statistics. So more stats from InPlay It. We have the entire application catalog. It's 150 plus for iPhone, tens of thousands on Android and BlackBerry. Apple, as we saw from the AdMob statistics, most of the traffic's in the top 10, top 100. With us, it's the reverse. When you allow users to browse in a frictionless environment, they will source interesting stuff. They will dive deep. They will find interesting content, and they will bubble it up and share with friends. The numbers, and the numbers are fairly consistent across the board. They speak volumes. This is how we know web discovery can work for you. Another part of web discovery is what we call playable discovery, and that largely means interactive stuff. In the iPhone and smartphone space, it means videos, video reviews, video presentations you put together. This playable discovery, we have found, works extremely well. So we have all these catalogs, every one of the applications in our catalog, and if you have apps out there, they're in our catalog most likely. You have an app detail page, which gives you like some stuff about your application. That video I showed at the beginning is an app detail page like that. And there's a space for screenshots, and if you have a video, we put it front and center. When there's a video there, over half the users, 53% to be exact, click to play. It's engaging. These are casual users, and they want a simple experience. They're not going to pour through a bunch of reviews, but if you give them a big play button, they click it, and they're engaged. And over half of them watch the whole thing. When we browse, we watch 10 seconds at a time. They do the whole thing. And so here are some interesting stats, right? Most played. So like for The Sims as the leader, right? You think people landing on the Sims page, 3 out of 4 click to play right off. And then we see it boosts the conversion rate, the conversion to click to download. Photoshop.com is currently our leader. 5 times when we show the video versus not have the video there, their conversion went up by 5 times. So this is a highly engaging kind of tactic you can employ to merchandise your application online. So web makes frictionless discovery possible. It makes playable discovery possible. Social discovery, that's a whole different can of worms. 53%, according to AppMob, of app discovery happens through online buzz and word of mouth. Peer-to-peer recommendations are powerful. Everyone's had the experience where you show your phone to somebody else to see, so that they can see what you have on your device. That is currently how these things are propagating, these applications are propagating. It's inefficient. We like to see technology applied to that process, and you can do so as well. So you want to use social networks as the technological equivalent of that peer-to-peer sharing. And so how does that break down? Most of you know this, but basically you have vectors and transmitters, right? The vectors for social propagation are going to be your social networks, right? Facebook, Twitter are probably the 2 largest, most popular ones right now. There are many others. And then not least is email. People use email a lot, as you all know. How do you get things shared on these networks? Well, you got to work the blogosphere, organic traffic, in-game traffic. We'll talk about that in a minute. But that's what social discovery means. It's a way of getting in front of your audience with playable stuff and getting in front of the right kind of users, which is the casual users. This is the power of web discovery and social discovery, targeting that vast untapped market of casual users online who have yet to buy mobile phones that can play mobile content, but they will. And this is how you get in front of them. And this is what it looks like, right? So this is just our Twitter feed. We use it too, right? I mean, everything we do, post to Twitter, post to Facebook, and that's how we get viral uplift. And you get your partners sharing, you get your users sharing, and it really works. And it works for us in terms of targeting that casual demographic. This is our Facebook, our iPhone catalog on Facebook. Mission accomplished, right? Mostly female, mostly 20s, 30s. It's the casual gaming demographic right there on Facebook, and they love this stuff. So that's the power of web and social discovery. How do you put it to work for you? 5 steps. Step 1, you know this. Make a web landing page. Make it nice. Make it simple. Everything about marketing is basically boils down to driving people to a link. And that link goes to a landing page. A lot of you are sending traffic to the App Store, where you get no metrics. You get no conversion info, and you can't optimize your own stuff. You need to send it to your own site, where you can capture that user as a customer, okay? Make it easy to share. Make it easy to cross-promote other applications that you're producing. Make it SEO optimized. Optimize that landing page for not only the web, but also for mobile, because a lot of times people are clicking socially shared links. They're doing it from their mobile. And with the advent of touchscreen browsers, HTML5, make sure that your content plays well in both spaces. And finally, measure, measure, measure. Put your Google Analytics tracker on there. It's not hard. Study it, worship it, get cozy with it. This is step 1. Everything else flows from this. Step 2, I mentioned before, we are big believers in video. Anything playable, anything that's engaging with the user. This is a big advantage you have in modern web technologies, that this is really easy for users to catch on to, and it definitely works. You can either do it yourself, And we have a case of one of our developers on our platform that didn't have a video. And just to show them how important it was, our VP BizDev just basically took his hand cam and recorded himself playing it and uploaded it to YouTube. Immediate 2 times conversion rate. It's very easy. So you can do better than that, and you should. Get somebody, if you can afford it, get a production firm to do it. Otherwise, do it yourself. It's better than nothing. Finally, work the review sites. They won't all review your application, but if you can get a quality review that's good, put it out there. Step 3. Learn to love PR. Most of us as developers kind of look down on PR as flax and as something that's annoying and you don't want to have to do. Well, get over it. Okay, the winners in the space are the ones that are going to promote themselves. Hire some PR if you can. There are a number of firms now that actually offer these kinds of services to independent developers. That didn't exist back in the day. This is brilliant. Okay, it's if you're playing to win, it's worth the investment. Or if you can't make that investment, do it yourself. Okay, PR Web, these online services, they're a couple $100 a pop. You can do it, and the beauty is that every one of these releases out there builds an SEO trail. Okay, every one you do and every subsequent press release you do, new features, new updates, new applications in your portfolio, builds on the rest of them. They cross-link, they build your power of discovery online. All these things, of course, will drive traffic to your landing page. So this is what you're trying to do: is build that landing page and drive traffic to it. Chase the review blogs. This is important to get third-party credibility. There are a boatload of iPhone discovery sites. A lot of these guys are doing Android discovery as well. Make a list. Check it twice. Make sure you hit every person on the list. Put it in your email, MailChimp, whatever it is that you use to spam people, and you need to spam them. Spam, but you need to mail them every time you have an application release so that you maximize your chances of getting covered. And repeat exposure is good because eventually they'll cave in and review one of your applications, and that'll help build everything else and drive traffic to your landing page, which will increase sales of your application. Promo codes, as everyone knows, are the currency of choice. But finally, make friends. Try to be friendly with them. Try to cultivate relationships. This is not stuff that most developers I know, myself included, are good at, but we have to suffer through and try it. You guys need to get social about this in a very focused and targeted way. And lastly, and this is important, connect to your users. You need to integrate social networking APIs into your application. It's easier now to do that than ever before. You can either directly connect things like Facebook, Connect, Twitter, or you can use third-party services, ScoreLoop, OpenFaint, other ones. Do all these things for you and have leaderboards and social achievements, all of these things that drive social media links where people can find your application and drive traffic to your landing page are essential for getting out there. Drive the traffic. Because all these things, when you're up against the App Store and the limited discovery of every individual App Store, whether it's Google's market, Android market, or whether it's the iTunes App Store or whatever else is coming down the pipe, there's only room in those places for about 200 players. Okay, you need to make sure that you do everything you can when you're outside that 200 to boost your chances of getting in there. And it's an endurance race. It's persistence and dedication that pays off. That's the idea of using web and social to boost your application discovery and get your applications to market better. That's my last slide, so I'll take questions. Are we good? Okay. Questions? I'm glad my presentation was thorough enough to answer everyone's question that they had in the back of their head. Do you want to set up or? Oh, Tim? Okay. Great. Thanks.